Welcome back to a new post today. Today let's look at an issue that Supreme Court has brought up and decided in a case providing an additional right under Article 21 of the Constitution for young girls, especially with regard to menstrual hygiene. So the Supreme Court has now ruled that all the schools must provide menstrual hygiene access to students, and that inaccessibility of menstrual hygiene management undermines the dignity of a girl child. It also prohibits a rights to avail education as well. The child's right to privacy and bodily autonomy is inseparably linked and related to dignity. This is what the Supreme Court said. Right to life under Article 21 now also encompasses the right to menstrual health of young girl children at school. Denial of menstrual hygiene measures denies the girl equal participation in the school. This is what the Supreme Court said. And under Article 21A, the fundamental right to free education also includes covering expenses that hinder a child from completing elementary education, which should extend to provide free sanitary napkins as well. Now, the Top Court said that lack of menstrual hygiene management in the school subjects the young girls to stigma, humiliation, and it therefore directed the states and the union territories to ensure access to sanitary napkins in all the schools, especially public schools, under the Right to Education Act. The Supreme Court declared that Right to Menstrual Act and access to menstrual hygiene management in the education institutions is now a part of the fundamental right to life and dignity under Article 21. It said that dignity cannot be reduced to just an abstract ideal, and it must find expression in the conditions that enable children, especially girl children, to live without humiliation, exclusion, and also avoiding suffering as well. For menstruating girl children, the inaccessibility of menstrual hygiene management measures subjects them to stigma, stereotyping, humiliation, and also avoiding them to avail elementary education as well. The absence of safe and hygienic menstrual management measures undermines dignified existence by compelling the adolescent students to either resort to absenteeism or adopt for unsafe practices, therefore critically undermining their health as well. Both violate bodily autonomy of the girl children, and menstrual poverty hinders children, especially girl children, from exercising their right to education with dignity equally to their male counterparts or students who can afford sanitary napkins. Therefore, it is very important that the schools, both at the state and the union territory level, have to ensure that sanitary napkins are available to the girls, and proper toiletry hygiene is also maintained in the schools for the girls to exercise their right to life, to dignity, and also education as well. Now, the judgment is based on a writ petition filed by one Jaya Thakur, highlighting the lack of menstrual hygiene management in schools across the country. The court held that these measures in the schools violate the right to privacy and bodily autonomy. Therefore, the Supreme Court issued a series of directions to the states and the union territories to ensure that every school, whether it is government run or private aided or privately managed in both urban and rural areas, are provided with functional gender segregated toilets, that is separate toilets for boys and girls, and these schools must also make oxy-biodegradable sanitary napkins which are readily accessible to the girl children, mainly especially free of cost, preferably within the toilet premises by using sanitary napkin vending machines. Schools must therefore establish menstrual hygiene management equipped rules and regulations, including not limited to spare innerwear, also provide spare innerwear, spare uniforms, disposable bags, and other materials that address menstrual related exigencies as well. This is what the Supreme Court said. The Supreme Court said that the girl child expectation to manage a menstruation in privacy with dignity is a legitimate and a legal right and a constitutional right under Article 21. In such circumstances, the lack of resources cannot be permitted to govern her autonomy over a body, and the court said that menstrual hygiene measures was not limited to traditionally understood sanitation of only having a toilet, but also included menstrual needs of girl child, which protected their bodily autonomy and decisional freedom as well. The court said that state cannot force a child to choose between dignity and her education, and there is no such a choice was neither equitable as well. The failure therefore by the state and the schools or the colleges to provide sanitary napkins create a gender specific barrier for girls which impedes their attendance, finally also leading to dropping out of school and therefore affecting their life and education rights. In separate section on the role of men in menstruation, the Supreme Court said it was crucial to educate and sensitize male teachers and students about the biological reality of menstruation in order to avoid any sort of harassment or stigmatizing or stereotyping of girls at school. The court held that the state should be held accountable if it is a government-run school if they do not comply with these norms under the Right to Education Act for providing separate washrooms for girls and boys and also barrier-free access to them. Private schools must also be re-recognized and face consequences if they do not comply with the norms under RTE. Therefore, once again, the Supreme Court has expanded the meaning of right to life under Article 21, including a girl's right to clean, hygienic menstruation even at school, and providing the schools with the responsibility of menstrual hygiene management to provide equitable access and also protect the right to life along with dignity, and mainly the right to education for girl children. So these were the most important points I thought I should be touching for you all, because it's a very sensitive issue and also it deals with the gender rights, especially women rights, girl rights. If you did, please do like, share and subscribe, and don't forget to comment at the end of the video. I shall see you in my next post. Until then, it's very happy learning.